Okay, welcome back. This will be the final module of the night one trainings. So after this, you'll just have to take a quiz, and then the second set of modules will be for night two, and that'll have a different due date for you. But in this final module of night one, we'll be going over four-person mechanics. So in flag football, we typically have four positions: the referee, the line judge, the field judge, and the back judge. Depending on numbers, if we do have to have three-person mechanics, then the field judge is likely the one that we'll get rid of. So that way we'll just have the referee, the line judge, and the back judge. But we're gonna explain all four and prepare you for that. And so this is a little graphic of where they line up on the field. So in this graphic, the red dot should be the offense, the green dot should be the defense. The referee is behind the offense, the back judge is behind the defense, the line judge right there on the line of scrimmage, and then the field judge falls in between, opposite side of the line judge. So as a referee, the one who stands behind the line of scrimmage, some basic positioning. So you are to maintain 7 and 7 off of the deepest back. Typically this is the quarterback, not always, but so 7 yards behind and then 7 yards off to a side of the deepest back. And your responsibility, you're supposed to roll with the quarterbacks or the back with the ball. So whoever has the ball, they can roll out left or right. So you follow them, maintain that 7 and 7 the entire time until he or she crosses the line of scrimmage. And then they're no longer your responsibility at that point. So another responsibility of yours is to announce the ball is away when the quarterback releases the ball. So on a pass play, when they release, you yell balls away. This is a good preventative measure. It lets the offense and defense know that the pass is away. So what it does for the defense is it lets the defender know that the ball's away, obviously, so that they no longer need to rush the passer. It'll prevent things like roughing the passer. So when the ball's away, they know that they no longer should touch the quarterback or pull their flag, so they don't get penalized that way. What it does for the offense is it lets them know that a forward pass has happened and that a second forward pass cannot happen at that point. So they may try a lateral in the backfield, so you don't need to yell balls away on any pitches or backwards passes. But on a forwards pass, you yell balls away, and that way they know that they're not allowed to make that second pass at that point. So during the pre-snap, here are some responsibilities for the referee. So you are supposed to count the number of offensive flag belts that are on the field. First, make sure that every offensive player has flag belt on, and then make sure that there's one on each side and one in the back, like we talked about in the last module. Another thing is to ensure that all players have come set before the ball is snapped. We do allow motion, so there may be one person in motion when the ball is snapped, but they need to be set along with everybody else at some point before the snap. And then lastly, make sure that the quarterback is at least 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. This is one that if they're close, you can let it go and just let them know, hey, you need to back up a little bit. But if they're continually creeping up inside of 2 yards, then eventually you may need to throw a flag on that. So at the snap, when the snap happens, you need to ensure that no one is moving forward at the time of the snap. So I mentioned that somebody can be in motion, so they're allowed to move laterally or backwards, but they're not allowed to be moving forward. Another responsibility is to make sure that the snap is one continuous motion. I think we talked about that in one of the beginning modules. So it needs to be a smooth, quick motion, and you're responsible for making sure that happens. And then next is making sure that the initial rush, that there is an illegal contact going on from the offense or the defense. So you're watching the line of scrimmage, you're watching the blockers on offense, and then the pass rushers on defense, making sure that all of the activity in there is good and legal. Moving on next is the line judge. So you can see at the top of the graphic there, they are right directly on the line of scrimmage. So you will stay on that line of scrimmage for the initial rush, the first 2 to 3 seconds. You can keep an eye out for penalties that may be going on there. And then you'll shuffle down yards, 3 to 5 yards, and we'll get over your responsibilities, but you'll be watching the matchups on your side, and you will be taking any spots from the field judge or back judge. So if it's a pass deep down the field, then the field judge or back judge will take the spot of where the flag belt was pulled, and then you'll eventually work your way upfield, take that spot from them, so that way they can get into position for the next play. So pre-snap, it's very similar to the referee. You're counting the number of offensive flag belts, one on each side and one in the back. And then you're also going to make sure that the snapper is near the puck, near the offensive puck. Anywhere within a yard is fine. So to the left of the puck for a yard or to the right for a yard is okay. And then make sure that there's no players in the neutral zone either. And that is between the two pucks. So between the yellow and orange cone, nobody is allowed to be in between, not even the snapper. So the snapper needs to be on this side of it as well. At the snap, again, you're just like the referee, making sure that nobody's moving forward at the time of the snap. One continuous motion for the snap as well. You're watching that initial rush, and then you're going to hold for a second, like we mentioned, and then shuffle 3 to 5 yards downfield, and you're going to watch any matchups that are on your side. So basically anything that's right in front of you, you're watching that offensive and defensive players to make sure that there's no illegal contact, no pass interference, or anything like that. Going to the opposite side of the field judge. So you're a little bit farther downfield, not on the line of scrimmage, but not quite as far back as the back judge. And you're always going to be on the opposite side of the line judge. You are 10 to 12 yards downfield. And on third and fourth downs, you're going to start on the zone line to gain. So whether that's the 20, the 40, the other 20, or the goal line, and we'll go over goal line responsibilities in the second night of modules. So that is only on third and fourth down. Otherwise, you're roughly between 10 to 12 yards down the field. And you'll be passing off your spot to the line judge like we just mentioned. So if it's in front of you, you take that spot, you wait for the line judge to eventually make their way up to you, you pass that off, and then you get into position 10 to 12 yards down the field for the next play. So pre-snap, you're looking at the other side of the ball, the defensive flag bouts. You're counting those, making sure they have them and that they're positioned properly. And then you're going to be picking up matchups that maybe go deep, as well as the matchups that are on the opposite side of the line judge. So you're on the opposite side, you're going to be watching just in front of you, and then anything that goes deep on your side, you'll be following those matchups. And you're also going to be looking out for illegal substitutions. So make sure that you have the 7 on the field for both sides, and then you're making sure that illegal substitutions do not happen. And we'll tell you what those are like in the second night of modules as well. So at the snap, you'll be watching the receivers coming off the line on your side, as well as receivers going deep on your side. And then you're responsible for contact in the middle of the field and all the way down your sideline. So you have a big area of responsibility. That's why you're the field judge. You're watching most of the action that'll be in front of you on your side. And you're going to have to remember those pass interference restrictions. So remember, the offense begins at the snap until the ball is touched or caught in the air on a pass. And the defense begins only when the ball is in the air. So lastly is the back judge, which is all the way in the back of the field. A note here is that you're going to be mirroring the referee. So as you can see, the referee is on the bottom side of the ball in this graphic. The back judge will be on the top side then, and then vice versa. So pre-snap, you just want to be looking, making sure that you're mirroring the referee in that way. So you're about 20 yards down the field, and you'll be mirroring the referee, and you'll be on the line judge's side. So it's either 20 yards or behind the deepest back. So if they have a safety or something that's really far back, then you can go ahead and get all the way back to them. And then your first step is always going to be backwards. So that way you keep the play in front of you. That's the big thing with the back judge, is you want the play to always be in front of you. Similar to the field judge, you'll be passing off your spot. So if it's a really deep pass, you'll go ahead and take that spot, wait for the line judge to come up and take it from you. You'll pass it off, and then you'll get to your position for the next play. Pre-snap responsibilities, similar to the field judge, you're counting defensive belts, and you're going to be picking up matchups that may go deep and picking up matchups that are on the line judge side. So again, the field judge has the bottom part of that field in that graphic, and you'll have the top side and all of the matchups that go deep. And you'll also be watching for illegal substitutions on that side of the field. At the snap, watch the receivers coming off of the line on your side and receivers going deep. And you're also going to help out the field judge with contact in the middle of the field, as well as all the way up that sideline. Again, remember those pass interference restrictions as well.